Meredith eventually had the opportunity to meet Nick's sister in an episode of Grey's Anatomy. She arrived via plane from the West Coast. She also brought a 6-week-old with her. Miles is the baby's name. Nick was unaware that his sister was expecting a second child. Because she was a heroin addict, he essentially reared her first child. He didn't think it was a good thing that she had another chance with a fresh child. He was concerned about having to intervene once more. He started by inquiring about the father. The father and his sister split up. 1 year ago they were dating. It was she who put an end to it. He couldn't beat him up after gym class, she laughed. He was the only one who didn't laugh. Nick realized immediately that she had no support system. He questioned his sister because he was concerned that he might have seized custody of young Miles. He insisted on knowing how long she had been sober. What is the duration of her sobriety? He was curious as to whether she had used while pregnant. Surprisingly, Meredith was the more sensible of the two. She greeted the other woman as if showing up with a baby wasn't a huge deal. Meredith assisted with the baby's care as well. It gave Nick additional time to speak with his sister. For the past 2 years she has been clean. She is employed for a law firm. She was on maternity leave and has a job with benefits. She had already started researching daycares. She made sense of her life. Nick simply doesn't think she has. He had previously traveled this path with her. After a few prosperous years, she starts to falter. She makes mistakes all the time. By now, Nick was accustomed to it. He has been in and out of her life for years because of this. Nick was accustomed to Erica. Meredith had only recently been acquainted with her. Erica pretended to have a happy life. She had a strategy. Nick was waiting for the other shoe to drop, but she had everything under control. Erica has a tendency to bury the lead, Nick informed Meredith. She would keep things from him and then seem to be shocked when he became agitated. It seemed as though he had no right to be angry or to ask her to share information with him. She also did that with the infant. Erica headed to the restroom. Before they knew it, they heard the front door. Without the infant, Erica drove off. Richard underwent surgery back in Seattle. He was receiving treatment for cancer of the prostate. He briefly glimpsed his deceased father while unconscious. They started conversing. They discussed things they had never talked about in their lives. During his surgery, he had asked Bailey to occupy his wife. In less than half an hour, she dismissed 3 of his nurses. She was acting out because she cared and he knew it. She insisted on giving him a private room. She insisted that he be treated like a VIP. During the procedure, Catherine didn't get much better. Richard owes Bailey a lot. Catherine looked over his will. She learned that he desired to be buried beside Adele, his first wife. There was never a divorce between them. Alzheimer's struck her. She didn't remember him when she passed away. He lost 2 women he loved to that illness, so it was a painful place, but Catherine had been offended by his choice to be buried by Adele. She was curious as to why he refused to be buried with her. In order to bury them all together, she then had the brilliant idea to purchase the plot on Richard's opposite side. Bailey desired cremation. Catherine got an idea from it. Suddenly, she wanted to be cremated in order to lay out on Richard's grave and in theory be nearer to him than Adele. Fortunately, Richard's procedure went well. Instead of Catherine when he woke up, it was Bailey. As long as Bailey remained by Richard's bedside until he awoke, Catherine pledged to stay off the floor. That was done by Bailey. Eventually, Catherine was so relieved that she refrained from criticizing him for his burial practices. Richard also had a revelation. A part of Richard was always going to feel bad about surviving the disease that killed his father. Additionally, the interns engaged in some dubious behavior because they rarely do not. In order to convince his insurance to allow surgery, they assisted a patient in lying about how much agony he was experiencing. He developed a tumor on his nerve system in his shoulder. He has several jobs, so he couldn't afford to miss too many or run the danger of losing his insurance. They therefore assisted him in getting the insurance company to approve the surgery now rather than in 3 months. He was still hurting. They simply misrepresented the degree of discomfort. Later the tumor was removed. Even after Winston discovered what the interns had done, they were not punished. Because insurance companies occasionally make things tough for no apparent reason, he chose to overlook this one. Erica returned shortly after. She didn't get enough sleep. She drove to Boston to speak with her sponsor because she was concerned about her sobriety. She now has a sponsor. She was going to AA meetings. Even though Erica's life was going well, she was still having difficulties. She had just become a mother. She required assistance. Nick put aside his criticism of her long enough to provide that assistance. Over the coming days they can find out everything else. Miles and Erica were planning to stay in their guest room. Nick freaked out for those 2 hours and was just relieved that he didn't have to raise a baby.